Welcome back to Simrite Fashion Academy YouTube channel for another interesting tutorial on this channel. So in this class, I'll be teaching you how to make three-step sleeve. As you can see right there, it's actually a cold shoulder sleeve. Okay, so I'll be showing you how to go about the sewing of this perfectly. So here you can see we have the first, we have the second flare, and the third flare. So I decided to use three color fabric to show you clearly what this looks like. So if this is what you want to learn in this class, please stay tuned to the end of this tutorial. Thank you. So in this class, I'll be teaching you how to make this cold shoulder sleeve. You are seeing right there on the thumbnail on a flared dress. So to begin this tutorial, I'll just go ahead and cut out the first thing I'll cut out is my basic off shoulder sleeve. Okay, so I'll just make a little basic off shoulder sleeve on my fabric before we go ahead to cut out the flares. So if you look at the sleeve we have on the thumbnail, you will notice that it has a full length above the elbow measurement. So to cut out this basic off shoulder sleeve, before we start working on the flared, I'm going to take my measurement. The line I wrote here is the sleeve measurement, that is the sleeve head, from where all basic sleeve is my measurement will be taken from. So from here I place my tape and I'm going to take 4 inches to this point. So once you take your 4 inches, then I want to also extend what I have. After 4 inches, I want to make the full length of this sleeve at 7 inches. Okay, because the sleeve itself is going to be at we are going to have the full sleeve, the full length of the sleeve attached from this 7 inches to about 13 inches. Okay, that's where we are going to have the full length. All right, so now once you have gotten your sleeve head, you've gotten the 4 inches and the 7 inches, all you are going to do is to come up here and mark 5 inches. Okay, so if you are on a smaller, if you have a smaller sleeve length, you can go by 4 inches. That is round sleeve. Okay, so if you're on the smaller size, that's what I mean, you can do 4 inches. But if you're on a bigger size, 5 inches is okay. Then I'll come over to this line and I'm going to mark my 8.5. Okay, so if you're in a smaller size, you can mark 8 inches. But to get this part, just use your bust divide by 6 plus 1.5. What you use on the chest line, that is what I used right here. Okay, so now what I'm trying to create here is my basic off shoulder sleeve. So once you have gotten your basic off shoulder sleeve, all you need to do is to do what? Connect it this way. So once you have connected it that way, then I'll come over to this 7 inches and measure my bicep measurement, divide by 4 by 2. So my round bicep is 15, divide by 2 will give me 7.5. So I'll just connect it this way. So I just created my bicep, my off shoulder sleeve right now. That's what I created. So I'll just quickly add 1 inch because I'm going to cut it out and stitch it back with 1 inch. So I'll just mark out that 1 inch. So when I'm cutting around here now, I'll just add my seam allowance to sew. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and add 1/2 inch on this side, this way. Then I'll add, cut from there, 1 inch. Then here I'm going to add 1/2 inch for my stitching allowance of the flare. Then I'll come up here and add 1/2 inch to stitch the upper piece. So this is just what you need, and this is called your basic long sleeve. So I'll just make a notch on this and this is my basic off shoulder sleeve. Okay, so this is the off shoulder sleeve we are working with right now. So this sleeve is three tiers or 3 steps. So the first step will be here. The second step, I will have it on this line. Okay, so it will now flow on top. Then the first one, which you are seeing there, will be on top of this. So it's easy. 1 2 3. I'm going to stitch my sleeve. So what I'm going to do is to measure whatever I have here. Okay, let us start from the down one first. So I'm going to measure from here to here. Whatever I have, 18, I'll divide it by 3.14, because we are cutting out this sleeve as one. We are using 180 degrees for the cutting of this sleeve. So the first, I'll use the down part to be the first flea. Okay, I'll use it as a first flea. So I measured 18 inches right now, so I'll divide it by 3.14. Whatever I have here, that will be the radius of the flea. Then from here, I'm going to measure the second one. So this is 20. So the second flea is equal to 20. I'll divide it by 3.14. Whatever I have here will be the radius I'll use to cut this particular one. Then the first one, I'll take my measurement here. I have 11 inches. So I call it the third one. That upper one is the third flea. So I have it at 11 inches. I'll divide it by 3.14. So whatever I have there will be the radius. I believe you understand. So I'm going to calculate the radius now, impute it, then we'll use it to cut the flea. Okay. So now I'm done calculating the radius of the first. I have 5.7, second I have this, and third I have this. So now we'll start cutting from the third. Note that this part is the one I call the third one. So I'll just go ahead and bring in my fabric now to cut. So here I'm going to fold my fabric to cut. So I just want to make different combinations of this to make this class a little more clearer. So if this is the fabric you want to work with right now for the sleeve, I'll just go ahead and do this. So I'll just make different colors of this. So we are cutting this on a 180 degrees. So the first one, I'm going to fold it 180. This is how you fold your 180. You just place it this way. This folded part, I'm going to measure my radius. So the radius I'm working with there is 3.5. So I'll just go ahead and mark the 3.5 all around, this way and that way. Then the length of the flea, I'm using 7 inches as the first length of my flea. Okay, so 7 inches. If you are stitching, turning it with a lining, of course you turn it with a lining, you add 1 more inch, making it 8 inches. But because this is a tutorial and I'm not turning with a lining, I'll just go ahead and cut at 7 inches. So I'll just go ahead and cut the okay, so this is what the first the down one is going to look like. Okay, the part that I measured at 3.5. So the one I used 3.5. The one that the radius is 3.5, which is the third flea. The third flea should be the upper flea that we had at 11 inches. Okay, so what I just cut is the upper flea right now, the part that will be on top this way. Can you see that we are going to sew right on top of this? Okay, can you see that? So I decide to use 180 degrees instead of to use a full circle. So if you want to use a full circle too, you can divide by 6.28. Okay, so but I think what we have here is good enough for this sleeve. So I'm going to cut the second flare now. I'm using, for the second flare, I'm using a radius of 6.4. So I will still go ahead and fold my fabric by 2, then measure out the 6.4. Okay. So at this folded edge, I'll take my radius as 6.4. So from here, I'll measure 6.4. I'll measure 6.4, 6.4, 6.4. Okay, so that will be my radius. Then my length of the flare here is also 7 inches. Okay, but I don't have enough fabric at that end. I'll just go ahead and start here to take that measurement. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and cut out so the second flare is the largest radius. Okay, so I will have it sewn at the second line. So this is where I'm going to sew it. I'll sew it at the second line this way, okay, because it's the largest radius. Then this one, I'll sew it on the first line. Can you see? So it's going to be like this. Then the last one, the last flare, I'm going to sew it here. Okay, so let me cut the last one right now for you to see. So the last one is going to be the first flare. Okay, so I cut the third one first, so I'm coming from below going up. So this one is 5.7. I'm going to cut the radius of 5.7, right? Like I said, I'm using different fabric, okay, for tutorial purpose. So if you are making this, note that you are using your exact fabric for this. So I'll just go ahead and measure and cut out. So of course, you know how we've been doing it. Just place on fold, as you can see me do right here. So once that is done, next is to start measuring. So from here, I'm going to measure the radius of 5.7. Okay, so I'm just using 5 a little before 7 a quarter, 3/4, a little before 3/4. So that becomes my radius, and the length remains 7 inches. So if you are working on your main fabric, don't forget to add your seam allowance. Okay, if it's 7 inches, make it 8 inches so you can sew up and down. So I will come back with all my sleeves right now. I'll go over to the machine to sew. So this is the base of this sleeve. So this one, which is the last one, okay, we are going to start that first. Note that this one is the one that is first flare, which is 5.7. So I'll go ahead and sew this 5.7 down here. Okay, I'll sew it from center line. So I'll prefer to put it together because you might have an excess on the sides, which we will trim off at the end of the day. So to sew it, just simply go ahead and do what? Make a notch. Then I'll also put it together this way and make a notch. That's after you have turned with your lining. Take note. Then this notch is the center notch. I'll also make the center notch. Okay, although I've already made it for the upper one. Then for the center one, I'll just do this, make a line meeting this notch, so I will know this is the center. So I'll go over to the machine now. I'm going to sew this last one first. So I'll place it notch to notch this way, so from one end to the other. So if I have an excess, I'll quickly cut it off. It does not affect anything. So now I've sewn the first flare. Okay, so this first flare we've sewn now. Like I said, if you have an excess, simply cut it off. So this is the excess we have right here. From here to here is 1 inch. So I'll just follow that 1 inch and cut the excess off. Okay, so it's very normal. I'll come over from here to here. I'll also follow the 1 inch and cut it off. So you can see we have the first flare. Okay, so this flare we are making is 180. So if you want, you can also cut this sleeve at 360. It's all your choice and your fabric. So I don't have much fabric, that's why I'm going by 180. So this is the second one, which I'll sew at the midline. So I'll just put it together now and make a notch. So I'll go now and also sew from that notch to this end and sew to this end. If I have an excess, I'll cut. So I've sewn the second one now. So if you also turn it this way, you will see an excess. Okay, so this excess is normal, so I'll just cut out 2.5. Just make sure what you have on top of the excess is what you are cutting out. So here I have 2.5. I'll also measure it out and cut. Okay, so this is it. So I'll go ahead and cut and sew the upper one. Okay, so I'll just make a notch as I've been doing to note the center sleeve. So this is it. I'll just go ahead and sew it this way to this way. Okay, so you can see what we'll have here is looking exactly like that. So let me do that. All right, so now I'm done with the sleeves. So this is what it looks at the front and this is what it looks at the back. So I'll just go ahead and do this. I'll go ahead and put my strap. Okay, so this strap measures 2 inches when unfold. Okay, so unfold it measures 2 inches. So by the time I also have an inch, I will have about 1.5. So I'll just go ahead and sew this strap. Okay, you can sew this strap by first sewing, opening it up and sew to the end like this. So I'll just open it up, sew to the end first, then cover and top stitch. So you can see I've sewn the first one, then I'll now bring this one and top stitch. Okay, so I'll just top stitch on top of it this way. So I'll do that now. Alright, so this is my strap, as you can see. Okay, so the strap is the measurement of what we'll have on the basic sleeve. Okay, so I'll now go ahead and put this together this way. Okay, so I'll just go ahead. The first thing I will do now is to sew this to this. Okay, if you want to get this accurately done, just sew this to this, bring this to this. Can you see? Bring this on top of this. So I'll just sew them before we close. I'm done stitching the sleeves. Okay, by the sides. I'm done just holding it so it will just be there together. So this part is the armhole. I will leave it open. Okay, so I will be attaching this part on the remaining part of the off shoulder sleeve. Of course, I'll show you how to do that once I get to the dress form. So I'll go ahead and sew from one end to the other, then we attach this to the armhole. So here I've sewn the sides, as you can see. So I'll just turn it over this way. So this is the part that will go to the armhole now. So I'll just go ahead and attach it to the dress form, to the flared dress I already made before. So this sleeve can be used for flared dress. You can use it for ordinary, dress, or any dress of your choice. So let us attach it so you see the final outcome. Now you can see what it looks like at the end of the day. So you can see the sleeves. This is the first one, the second one, and this is the third one. Okay, so that is how to go about it. So thank you very much for coming to this tutorial once again. If you are new to this channel, please kindly subscribe, turn on your notification bell to receive videos like this every day. Like this video, share to family and friends, drop a comment in the comment section and your suggestions as well. Thank you for coming. See you in the next class. Bye.